Hi, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. It is December 13, 2022. We're here to take your immigration questions live at the JK Law Firm on the YouTube channel, U.S. Immigration Talk, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok. So if you're tuning in and you have general education kind of questions, we can't go, case specific because I don't know all the information related to your case, but we could dive in on that to get to know more about what's going on with your case and give you a helping hand to guide you on what's going on. So we're still going live on different avenues, but before we start, I also want to remind people who are watching the live show, we do provide free video consultations for winners, raffle winners. What we do is every 10 minutes we name somebody off, and they get a chance to just email me if they win, and we'll schedule a free private video consultation for 15 minutes where we talk outside this public forum. All you got to do is like and subscribe, and best thing to do get to win is to ask a good question. Alternatively, just strike consultation, and we'll try to randomly choose people. Semi-randomly, sometimes we just pick somebody, but we'll be doing that to help take your case to the next level. Having said that, if you're interested in doing a marriage, green card, a fiance visa, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide to get to know about the U.S. immigration process for spouses and fiancés. It's going to be something interesting for you to read. The best guide out there. It's free too. Just go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com. The website is marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And as I said, it's general education. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. With that, let's get it started. So our guest Steve says hi, and Beast Music asks, hi, what could you say to someone that is starting to study immigration? Well, there's a lot to study. I don't know what I say to the person. Good luck. I mean, I don't say anything some more specific than that, frankly, but it's a lot to learn. Commonly people think immigration just filling out forms, but it's a highly complex statutory and legally confusing area of U.S. law, which varies a lot because of the political situation and the person in charge and what they're doing and the way things are written, which a lot of times doesn't make any sense. But if, let's say, you're an immigration attorney, really go and study the statute first and foremost and the regulations. A lot of immigration attorneys don't do that. They just kind of copy what their mentor taught them how to do and repeat it. But you have to have a solid foundation and firm rooting in the statutory language, in the regulations, in the legislation, to be able to really push back when the government is pushing back, and be familiar with all the required memos and court cases that may be needed for the type of practice that you have and the kind of work that you're doing. So that comes really key. But it's a lot of study. I've been doing this for 10 plus years. I've taught it in law schools, at Loyola Law School, at Pepperdine Law School. I have courses where I teach U.S. immigration lawyers this stuff. I publish a trade magazine called the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox magazine for immigration lawyers. And despite that, every day I'm learning something new in immigration law. So it's kind of frustrating, but kind of exhilarating. At the same time, it's never boring, let's put it that way. So congrats on your decision to study immigration law. The next question, Jimmy Khan asked, my brother's been here for a while. My brother's been here for a while. I haven't seen you. Thank you always for your service. God bless you, Jimmy. Thank you so much for tuning in. I was at a conference last week talking about U.S. immigration law, and I got sick at the conference, cold that's still lingering. So hopefully we get through all of today's session. I appreciate that, Jimmy. God bless you. Marinella asks, what happens when a parent becomes a U.S. citizen and has an 8-year-old daughter? What to do next for the minor? So I need more information on the minor. Is the minor a green card holder? If so, when the parent becomes a U.S. citizen, the minor child automatically becomes a U.S. citizen as well in this scenario. And you could go to the U.S. passport office and you can get a passport, or the U.S. post office, or whatever, get a passport. The better thing to do, which costs a little bit more money, is to apply for a certificate of citizenship for that person. It's better to have a certificate of citizenship from the Department of Homeland Security than just have a passport. It may become handy in their lives later on. There are situations where sometimes the passport won't be renewed or there's problems with the passport. Having a certificate of citizenship is really important. So the form for that is Form N-600, application for a certificate of citizenship. You send the evidence that the child's a green card holder, birth certificate, the parents show the parents, and the parents' naturalization certificate, along with other biographic information. It costs on $1,170, I think, right now. I'm not 100% sure about the exact cost, but something like that. So they maybe a couple of years ago they were talking about making the price in half, which would have been better, but they didn't do that. So long story short, so now we got this expensive thing that's annoying to have to spend $1,000 on. But if you can and got the money, it's definitely worth doing. Marnell, thank you for your question. I appreciate it. And we had a lot of highs. Sabrina says hi to you. Sandeep says hi as well. We have a lot of people tuning in on Instagram, a lot of friends. And then we got a couple questions popping up here on TikTok. So let's see what's going on with these. So one of them right here, Alassane says hi to you as well. Well, it's a lot of processing time questions, but I'll answer a couple of them. Taki asks, I-485 processing time for my mom, RFE submitted July 21st, after that no update. So when you submit a request for evidence, or let's say this way, you submit a green card case to USCIS and they ask for more information, you submit a response to them. A lot of people think there's some response time that you can expect to get a decision on that, but there's absolutely no response time. It could take them, once you respond to the government with the missing information, it could be a week for them to finalize it, it could be a month, it could be 2 years. So there is no timeline that they're bound by. Now, if it takes what you think is long, you can always sue them, give that a shot. But that's the situation there. Sabrina asks, I'm still waiting for my asylum interview. I want to know if there's any other way to get a green card. Well, Sabrina, I mean, there's a whole gamut of ways to get a green card. It depends on what your situation is. And if you're really in a rush to get your asylum interview, you can file a lawsuit for the delay. That a lot of times helps move things forward. Brandy asks, to file taxes together, does a couple have to be married in the previous year or 2023 wedding is okay? So that's a tax question, but generally speaking, you have to be married in the year that you're filing. So if you're filing your 2020 taxes, you have to be married in 2022 to take advantage of the benefits tax benefits of being married. So if you're going to get married in 2023, I don't think you could mark married on your 22 taxes, but talk to an accountant, not an immigration lawyer about that. The worst place to ask tax questions is from an immigration lawyer. Warcy asks, I'm 23 years old and I was born in Mexico. I got adopted by U.S. citizen parents but never got U.S. citizenship. Well, you got to talk to the attorney in private to see what's going on there, how old you were when you were adopted, where you were living. You got to get that all together. There's a lot of documentation that has happened. Unfortunately, a lot of times we have clients who are adopted and then they come get to our office to get paperwork ready, green card, citizenship, and realize the adoption was never properly inputted in the system, stamped, signed, all that kind of stuff. And that creates a big problem because you're out of luck at that point. But hopefully that's not the case for URC, but you got to talk with an attorney private to review what happened with your case. Sandy asks, hi, sir, can I travel to India without response NOID from USCIS? I have a 10-year green card. Your questions are clear, and I can't give you individual legal guidance because I don't know the details. I don't want you to go and get stuck outside without knowing anything about you other than this one sentence. But you say you have a 10-year green card, but you have a notice of intent to deny. You don't really want to travel if you have a notice of intent to deny. That's like you're walking a fine, scary line you don't want to fall over. But that's the best I tell you. You really need to talk to the attorney in private. If you have a notice of intent to deny, I mean, USCIS wants to deny your case. You really 100% need to have an immigration lawyer. Second of all, you have a 10-year green card. I'm not sure why you have a NOID. It doesn't make sense. Third, I don't know why is a NOID. Is it because they're accusing you of fraud, or are they just saying, oh, you just send a copy of some documents, send it to us, and that resolves it? Depends on how deep it is. But in general, you don't want to travel if you have a notice of intent to deny. Not a good idea. Bush asks, is there a way to waive initial interview for a marriage-based green card? There's nothing that you could do to waive a mandatory or semi-mandatory interview for a marriage green card case with USCIS in the United States. You submit your documents, and it's up to USCIS whether they make the decision to do that. Now, recently, the last 3 or 4 months, it's become much more commonplace to get cases and the interview waived. We're getting frequently, probably a third of our cases are getting waived. Most of the time, it's when people have kids together, but we just got one approved actually today where they didn't have kids together and they just have a lot of evidence showing they're a couple and they waived the interview. So is there a way to do it? We don't. They have guidance that they issued in a memo, USCIS, what they're looking for to waive cases, but they do whatever they want to do. But the only thing you can do is when you submit the petition, the I-130 petition, submit as much evidence as possible so it makes it really clear that you're really a couple and there's no need to do an interview. Along with that, you have to make sure your case doesn't have certain issues or perceptions of a potential inadmissibility issue that they need to question you on about your background or violations or criminal history. That stuff becomes important as well. Taki contest. I send my new upcoming tax return. Just wait. Do I need to send a new tax return? Or just wait. Do I need to put inquiry? I don't know what kind of case you have, Takan. You send what you have right now with other evidence of continuing income. Generally, if you're thinking about an affidavit of support, but I don't know where your case is, what step it is. So just I can't give you individual guidance what you need to do, but generally send what you have with evidence of continued income. And if they ask for more, you provide that. But I don't know exactly what's going on in your case, so I can't advise you there. Keon asks, do you know any resources for spouses of U.S. military who's a resident of Iran? Do you apply for I-130? I don't have any particular resources, Keon, but from my experience, although USCIS says they have special benefits and they help spouses, marriage cases for active duty military personnel, in my experience, they've been no help at all. I've been battling the embassies in Europe over, we have active duty Marines in particular. Most of my military cases are Marines. And they don't help us at all to make it go faster or anything like that. It's been pretty obnoxious how they've been unwilling to respond and have to fight just to get a no from them. So, you got to fight if you want. Call USCIS, call your local congressperson, file a lawsuit, get people involved. That might be one way to go, but unfortunately, you just got to fight. No good resources. Really quick, Ash, I want to announce our first free video consultation raffle winner. Yours, yeah, that's the question earlier. I think it's about adoption. If you're still watching, take a screenshot of watching this, so I know it's you. Excuse me, and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com, and I'll send you information on how to schedule the free video consultation. And for those just tuning in, it's a live show. We do give away free video consultations. All you gotta do is like and subscribe, and either ask a good question or write consultation. And we'll randomly name somebody or semi-randomly name somebody for a free video consultation. Now, yours, I might not have all the answers, what you're looking for, but at least we can chat about it and see what's going on. Secondly, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. The website is marriageimmigrationlaw.com to learn everything you need to know. Well, not everything you need to know, but most of what you need to know about the fiance and marriage visa case. All right, next question. Want to ask, a 36-year-old son of a U.S. citizen with Overstay, any options within the U.S. for adjustment? Any options? We have to see whether you fall under any exemptions or exceptions like 245I or something like that. So it's rare. There are exceptions, whether you fall under the 245I exception, under maybe some sort of VAWA exception. I don't know. U visa, I don't know. So you need to review your case. Doesn't look good, but I had cases like this where we solved it, but it's hard. It's very hard. Coco asked, my husband and I separated not legally before my green card. Is there any step I can take? You need to talk with the immigration attorney in private about what's going on, because if your green card has an issue, they may not approve it. If you got to go to interview and he doesn't come, so you got to be mindful. If there's been abuse, maybe you could use the VAWA claim, Violence Against Women's Act claim, which for those watching doesn't just apply to women, it could be men too. They just worded it that way. But those are some options you need to be aware of to try to maintain the green card. Deborah asks, how long can an approved green card holder children can join them after filing for them? How long can an approved green GH children, what is GH children, join them after filing for them? I don't know exactly what you're asking for, Deborah. I'm sorry, I might just be missing something there. Sabrina asks, I applied for asylum. I have a social security number to work permit. I'm waiting for 5 years now. How to send them a letter? Well, you have the office, the location. If you want to send them a letter or get a congressperson involved, that's probably not going to do anything to get your interview. If you really want to do something, you got to sue them. But that's about it. Marnell follows up, when an asylum applicant travels to the country where he fled from and then wants to return to U.S., what would be the legal remedies? There's no legal remedy. If USCIS, if the CBP or later on during naturalization, USCIS wants to make a problem with it, they can. Historically, they've been pretty flexible and haven't had problems with it, even though the statutes say if you filed for asylum from a country, you shouldn't use the protections of the home country, which includes using a passport or potentially even visiting there. Now, a lot of times you could argue visiting there wasn't the fear. I can't live there because if I live there, then they're going to attack you or not let me work. In practice, I haven't seen them be strict about this, but I just can't recommend anyone do that. It's not about legal remedies per se. It's just a matter of if they want hassle you or not. Name in Hindu is written there. I filed for asylum. My parents have citizenship. Can they apply a petition for me? They can start the process, but if you're an adult child, it's going to take a long time, and you probably have to leave the U.S. and then come back in. So it may be possible, but talk to the immigration in private to go into more detail about it. York says, how much are your consults? Well, it ranges several $100s, depending on which attorney you're talking with, but it's going to be a couple to several $100s for a 30-minute video consultation. Ms. Jafar says, how can I apply for a work visa for my nephew? You can't. Either your nephew finds an employer that's going to file for them or a case going on, but there's nothing you can do for our nephew. Heather asks, hello, a few weeks ago I mentioned my husband took his citizenship test and it's been 6 months with no response. We contacted our lawyer to threaten a lawsuit. How long after a letter have you seen they reply? There's no consistent answer on how long they reply or this and that. It's case-by-case basis. Mosafar asks, is there any immigration way to get a green card from pending asylum applicant 10 years? No, you got to finish your asylum case, and then if it's approved, then a year later file for a green card. Nothing comes from that one. Bobby asks, my case is CR1. It's a person who's married to you got their green card and based on a newer marriage. I am a U.S. citizen. I applied for my wife in Iran. I just got documentary qualified from the embassy 2 weeks ago. How long would it take for interview now in Abu Dhabi? You're not going to like the answer, but in Abu Dhabi right now, it's taking like 20, 22 months. So it's going to take forever, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Hopefully it goes faster, but that's what we're seeing right now. Keon says, thanks, you're welcome. Taki says, I already submitted the RFE in response for the I-864 in July to be filing, to be after filing. Okay, so you submitted a response or request for evidence, and you have new taxes coming up, and you want to send newer ones. You should have submitted your 2022 with that RFE. If you didn't, or if it's still not clear what you're talking about, but if you're saying when 2022 taxes are ready, now the 2021, which should have been done already, can you on your own send that? Usually it's not good to just send the government documents unless they need it. I don't know how bad your financial situation looked that they sent an RFE or how much they misunderstood it to judge whether it's worth the risk to submit additional information and evidence or not. So I can't give you individual guidance on whether that's a good idea or not. Usually it's not a good idea, but I don't know enough information. I have to read your RFE, look at your whole case, we answer that. Fair Lifestyle says, how long does it take to receive a social security number after filing for a marriage green card case? There's no timeline, and they just whenever we get around to it, maybe 8-10 months if we're lucky. Mahesh asks, I'm an F1 student visa. I got $50,000. Can I get that money? There will be any future visa problems for H-1B? I'm not sure. What do you mean? You got $50,000 and get that money? The question doesn't make sense. Sorry, Mahesh. I don't know what to tell you. Try to rephrase your question. Ronak asks, if a U visa validity expires, can you apply for extension because it landed late in the U.S. due to COVID? I don't handle U visas. Our firm handles U visas now. We have an associate who handles those, but I never submit U visas, so I'm not an expert to be able to give you U visa guidance myself. Marielle says, thank you. You're welcome. Chanda says, my husband's asylum is denied and applied from high court. Can I still apply from my side? I'm a U.S. citizen. It depends if your husband had lawful entry or not. And if you got married after he got sent to court, they're going to have more stringent rules on whether they're going to believe your relationship is real. It may be possible. At this point, you should have had an immigration attorney. They could have filled you in on those options, but definitely get a lawyer as soon as possible. Shug Tasking asks, hi, thanks for the sessions. My case is I-131 for ranching permit and completed biometrics in May of 2021. Still waiting on my case says information not available. What can I do? Nothing. You just wait. It might take another year, but nothing you can do. Coco says, no abuse. We just decided to go separate ways because you're not agreeing. I don't know the details of how your green card case is, but it doesn't look good, unfortunately. If you're not together for the interview, they may deny it. There's a good chance you're going to deny it. Bishesh asks, I'm a green card holder. I have to stay outside the U.S. for 14 months. Will getting a transfer assure my readmission in the United States? There's no assurances for your readmission in the United States. It's always up to the Customs and Border Protection officer that you deal with. Now, they're probably going to be flexible about it, but it's up to them. If you apply for rich permit, I wouldn't be too worried, but it's up to them. There's no assurances or guarantees. Having said that, your absence will create problems for filing for U.S. citizenship. It's going to reset the clock for filing citizenship. So be mindful of that. Liba Benjamin asks, I'm an F1 visa international student and I just filed for asylum. Can I adjust status if I win the diversity visa lottery? If you still maintain your F1 student visa status, you're going to school, your I-20 is valid, and you win the green card lottery, and by the time you file for adjustment of status from I-485, you still maintain status, then yes, but we got to make sure all the other things happen as if your asylum case wasn't even filed, but you just maintain a student visa up until the time of filing for adjustment of status. That may be possible. Ali Shama asks, hi, I got my green card June 2018. Can I apply for citizenship visa before 6 months? No, where'd you come up with that number, 6 months? No, you can't do it for 6 months. You potentially have 3 months early if you've satisfied the other requirements, but I have a really detailed video about the timelines for U.S. immigration. I'm sorry, for U.S. citizenship. Just go to YouTube and type in JQK Law Citizenship Timelines. And it's going to break down every aspect because there's different calendars and timelines you have to think about when you're filing for citizenship. Deborah asks, how long can a green card holder children out of country join them in the United States? I filed for them this year, so when will they schedule for an interview? It's up to them when they schedule an interview. There's no timelines whenever the embassy gets around to it. I do want to name a winner of our second free giveaway for video consultation, 15 minutes. Liba Benjamin, take a screenshot wherever you're watching this and email it to me at info@jqklaw.com, and I'll reply with information about scheduling the private consultation. For those just tuning into the live program, we give away free video consultations. All you got to do is like and subscribe and ask your question. Maybe at the end of the question, write / or dash consultation so I know you're interested, or just write consultation and we'll semi-randomly pick somebody for a video consultation. But let's go back to the questions. Yazid asks, because of your advice, I'm a U.S. citizen now. Thank you and God bless you. Well, Yazid, thank you. It's very kind of you. This is so wonderful, this show, just coming here to talk, helps people go through this difficult process. And without even hiring me, I'm so happy I could be there. That's what we're here for. You know, a lawyer has, I have responsibilities to my family to make money. I have responsibility for my team to be able to pay payroll salary. But there's an aspect of responsibility to the community that every professional, doctors, lawyers, accountants, everyone has to do. And God bless, God bless the world where we have this internet access, right? Just come in a little room and share this information to the public who may not have access to an attorney. It's a wonderful position to be in. But thank you, Yazzie. I really appreciate it. If you had time, Yazzie John, go to type in JQK Law in Google and just on the review part, put 5-star review. You don't have to write anything, just 5-star. It helps me out a lot. I appreciate it. But other than that, God bless you. Thank you for the kind words, letting me know that you're a U.S. citizen. Congratulations to you and your family. Sean asks, I adjusted I-485 in court USCIS, VAWA approved clean liquor, which is faster or better? There's no faster or better. They could vary drastically. You need to talk with the immigration attorney in private about which is better. So if you're already in immigration court, you could potentially adjust status with the judge or have the case in USCIS for adjustment. Somewhat I-130, interview with USCIS is somewhat better, but I don't want to give individual legal guidance because there's just too many stuff that I need to know. It's not appropriate for me to just say, do this or that with this little information. Maisha says, I got $50,000 in lottery. I'm an F1 student. If I get that money, is there any problem with the future H-1B visa? That's an interesting question I haven't seen before. So, playing the lottery isn't necessarily banned by immigration standards, and it's not work, so it's not like you're unauthorized employment. I don't have a 100% answer because I just haven't done the research on this, but based on my thoughts quickly, and again, this isn't guaranteed if it's correct, the lottery itself, as long as you didn't, you're above age, like you didn't violate the law, being too young to, something like that, winning the lottery itself is not against any immigration law, so I think it should be okay. But that's something I'll just spend more time thinking about and just double checking before I give 100% on that. Amanda asks how it works, a direct consular application and necessary documents. Well, with regard to necessary documents, that depends on what kind of case you have. Do you have a family-based, EB1, 2, 3, 4? Do you have a VAWA case? Do you have a dead spouse case? That's all of that. If you're able to do a direct consular application, you directly file the embassy, you got to see if it's the kind of case they do directly, have them accept it. And then necessary documents, again, depend on what kind of case you have, Amanda. So that's like a really big thing you're asking. You really got to talk to the attorney privacy, what's going on. Tori asks, I'm about to get my permit. I want to keep working in the same company. Should I resign or why can I? What permit are you talking about? Work permits? But if you got your work permit, why would you need to resign? Tori, I don't understand your question, unfortunately. Zaid Abdullah, I have interviewed on an IR1 visa in Riyadh, and I got a 221G end of the interview because of some missing documents. End of the interview, I was giving back all my documents with passport, but the consular officer wants to keep my passport in, but I took it back and submitted all the missing documents to email embassy. But do you know what I do, how I get a visa? You got to communicate with the embassy to see what they want and how they request that things be sent back to them. A lot of times they want to see the original. So there's a postal service that you give it to them and they deliver it to the embassy. The paper they give you for the 221G should spell this all out. So just follow the instructions and the communication method they have listed there. Just to be safe, that's what you got to do. Libajan follows up. I got a work permit based on my asylum. Will working more than 20 hours affect my F1 status? Oh, that's not good. So we don't have clear information on this, but I have one opinion. My legal opinion is this: if you have a student visa and you're going to school and you have the asylum case pending, get a work permit, by working, you're essentially violating the F1 student visa, whether it's 1 hour or there's 40 hours. The amount of hours doesn't matter. So I'm of the opinion that if you have a student visa, you should not do work activities, even if you have work authorization, because it could undermine the F1 student visa. Some lawyers don't think that. We don't have specific guidance from USCIS on how they interpret this issue. So there may be different rules. But at this point, if you're already working, then you're out of luck. But I don't have official memo or something to say which way it goes. To be safe, to be conservative, I say don't work. But if you already worked, then you give it a shot, see what happens. It is what it is. But it's kind of out of your control at this point. But the hours doesn't. It's not about hours. It's 1 hour or 100 hours doesn't matter. Is it working or not working? Kiana asks, can you apply for asylum through the embassy? No, asylum applications happen at the U.S. border or within the United States. If someone's outside and they want to go through the asylum method, they have to apply to be a refugee. The UNHCR, UN Commission, High Commission on Refugees, which is a long, drawn-out, and uncomfortable process they have to go through. Moinchi asks, my son got an interview date for F21. Do I need to update my tax return through NV? Yeah, uploading update tax was not a bad idea, but it's not a big deal if they accept it already. The embassy might ask, but you can take the embassy. Zaid asked for the consular officer. Okay, we already answered that. Sering asked, did the estimate time on N400 is accurate? No timelines they give you are accurate for immigration. And I'll take two more questions and we'll call it a day. Let's see. Ojitsu asks, can a dual citizenship be beneficial for the U.S. citizen, or can it be hard on the U.S. citizen? It has no effect on the U.S. citizen. You can do whatever you want to. Mamadou says, can I travel out of the country after N400 interview without a decision? Generally, a person can. Whether it's wise to do or not depends on your history and facts and why they didn't make at least an interview decision. So it kind of depends, but generally you can. And I guess one more question, we'll call it a day. Zaid follows up. Thank you so much. How long did it take to get your visa after 200 you submit? There's no timelines for the visa issuance after submitting documents. There's no timelines at all for 99% of immigration, frankly. So it just depends on when they get around to it. Thank you for joining. We'll be back again next Tuesday. We're getting close to the holiday season. Got to see how that calendar looks like. But I think 20th is a regular day. So we're here 5 p.m. Pacific time to take your questions for half an hour live to give general information. We have real good stuff happening. We had a gentleman that talked about, I think his name was Zayed. No, it wasn't Zayed. It was a Muslim name. I forgot what it was. But congratulations, got citizenship. Just watching the show and asking questions. It's kind of risky too because I don't know all the information, but try to do my best to give general guidance, not individual guidance. Having said that, if you want to schedule a private one-on-one consultation, just email me at info@jqqlaw.com and we can schedule a regular formal consultation to get into your case. Until next one, God bless, be safe. Talk soon. Bye-bye.